गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स। तो आज हम करेंगे एथिकल गाइडलाइंस इन रिसर्च, MPCE 46 ब्लॉक 1 यूनिट 2 रिसर्च इन साइकोलॉजी, रिसर्च इन पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी का ये है टॉपिक रिसर्च में, एंड दिस इज़ ऑन पेज नंबर 51. So see, this is again a flow chart, a color diagram of ethical guidelines at various steps in research. So wherever you find the colored flow charts and diagrams in this book, consider it as important. Okay, so there are various steps. These we have already learned in MAPC first year. So this is just a repetition. So you can see the step 1, which is choosing a research question. Okay, so it adheres to the ethical guidelines. Then second step is conducting a literature review. There are no ethical guidelines. Then developing a hypothesis is the third step, which again doesn't need any ethical guidelines. Then step 4 is designing the study, which adheres to ethical guidelines. Then step 5 is conducting the study, adheres to ethical guidelines. And step 6 is analyzing the data, which again adheres to ethical guidelines. And the last step is reporting the results, which adheres to ethical guidelines. So this is the flow chart. So next is the purpose of ethical guidelines. First is ensuring the rights of each participant. See, why it is important to go through the ethical guidelines and adhere to it, because it ensures the right of each participant. It focus on the welfare of the participant, कि कोई भी psychologist या counselor या researcher जो है, he doesn't take the advantage of the participant. Participant has the full right to withdraw. Participant has the full right to know the consequences, to know the procedure and the confidentiality, and the participant is not misused, information is not misused. So that is all regarding the welfare of the participant. Then third is causing no harm to the participant while doing research or during any procedure. Participant should not be harmed in any way. Then maintaining confidentiality of information and data related to the participant, emphasizes adherence to professionalism by the researcher, focus on the responsibilities of the researcher, promotes fairness and credibility of the research studies in field, and contributes to the growth of discipline as a scientific field. So these are the purpose of ethical guidelines. Then these are the ethical aspects which we need to follow while carrying out the research. First is the informed consent. जो आप कंसेंट पार्टिसिपेंट से लेते हो, दैट शुड बी फुली इन्फॉर्म्ड, मतलब उसको सारा प्रोसीजर अच्छे से, ही शुड बी वेल वर्स्ड अबाउट इट, ही शुड हैव ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन रिलेटेड टू द procedure of the research, and participant is free to withdraw from the research at any point of time. So the written consent of the participant is to be taken in the research process, and the researcher needs to provide all the information related to the participant. Then next is confidentiality. That is, all the data related to participant are kept confidential. However, there are exceptions to confidentiality, especially when there is a threat to life of the patient or to any other's life. For example, if your participant is suicidal, then you need to discuss this with other family members. And if he is half, you can say, delinquent or criminal tendency, then he can be a threat to someone else's life. So this is also required by the law. So in that case, confidentiality cannot be maintained. Then next is deception and debriefing. So researcher needs to hide the real objective sometimes, because the participant can be then biased. Okay, so अगर आप उसको सारा procedure, सारी information 1-to-1 आप you give 100% information about all the procedure and everything, then participant can be biased. मतलब he can think कि okay, so this needs to be done, and they are taking data on a personality, so I have to be good, I have to show my good personality. So see, he can be biased in giving the responses. So, and there can be a desirability effect also, like social desirability. कि if socially if certain qualities are considered good in a person, then he'll try to project those personalities to the researcher as well. So in this case, researcher needs to debrief the participant, tell the real objective of research to participant after the data collection from the participant is completed. So इस केस में हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि first of all you take all the data, you take all the information, and then you can debrief the participant about the real objective. Okay, you can debrief the participant after the test. After conducting the test, you can tell the real objective. Then next is beneficence. In this, the researcher needs to ensure the welfare of the participant, and he should not harm the participant in any way. That is non-malfeasance. There should be no harm and maltreatment to the participant during the conduction of the research. And next is risk-benefit ratio. The researcher needs to see that benefits of research study outweighs the risk. Okay, तो जो benefits उस research से हो रहे हैं वो इतने ज़्यादा हैं कि उसके risk को outweigh कर सकते हैं. So the risk should not be affecting the participants in any significant way. So American Psychological Association also provide guidelines which are followed by the researchers. So beneficence, non-maleficence, fidelity, responsibility, integrity, then justice, respect for people's rights and dignity. So this is all very important. So here we come to the end of the unit 2, which is the research methods in positive psychology. Next हम करेंगे next video में.